Hey, beautiful seeker, welcome back to the Existential Shift. This is a 13th element video where I talk about 13th elements in life. Okay, empaths, narcissists. Every empath is a narcissistic ticking bomb. And every narcissist is an empath that just couldn't take it anymore. Boom. What did I just say? I hope I didn't lose most of you. Okay. There is a thing in life called scales. I look at life as a circle of infinite scales, whereas humans, our human condition finds itself moving on that scale. Some of us are kind of stagnant on very specific points on the different scales. Some of us move more fluidly, aka shapeshifters. But the majority of us lovely humans, we have our points on the circle of human condition, on the scale. What do I mean by that? What is a scale, for example? A scale could be smart and stupid. A scale can be tall and short. A scale can be fat and thin, literally. A scale can be good and evil. A scale can be generous versus cheap. A scale can be empath versus narcissist, right? Human condition, all the different scales. And we are amorphic. Our amorphic existence is all over that. But our characteristics, they sit somewhere. They have like points of sitting somewhere. So the scale of empathy and narcissism, those are just two extremes of the same scale of emotional sensitivity. Let's just refer to that scale. Okay? All empaths and narcissists are originally highly sensitive individuals that feel the world deeply, that sense things outside of them as if they exist inside of them. And that is actually the truth of the matter, right? Because as above, so below, as within, so without. It's a sensitivity that is aligned with oneness. It's very divine. It's very true. But we do live in a reality of separation and of duality. And there are many challenges. So growing up, these empath beauties oftentimes are scarred, injured, hurt more than once. And then it gets split into either or. You either, by the most parts, of course, maybe you're an alien and then you can teach me something about yourself, but I'm talking to the standard human condition that we are familiar with. By the most parts, you either take it to the direction of, in order to heal yourself and to be good to yourself, and to give yourself what wasn't given to you, you become a giver, an over-excessive giver. An empath that is constantly there for the other person or for other people, that gives from themselves endlessly without boundaries, because everything is our reflection, right? So by giving to another, we're giving to ourselves. Or we become the narcissist aspect, the other extreme side of the same scale that we are sitting on with the other empaths, which is we find a way to heal ourselves and to give ourselves what wasn't given to us by taking and giving it to ourselves constantly. Making sure we surround ourselves with givers, with empaths who are givers and constantly take without giving back. Both originates from the same injury, from the same place of needing to fill out some sort of void in the heart. It's two different expressions, two different ways to heal the same thing. But either way, as an empath, I give subconsciously to receive, because when I give, I am the martyr, I am the giver, I might receive love back, I might be needed. I get something out of it. And the more obvious aspect of it, as a narcissist, I take and I receive. But either way, once again, two different ways to fill up that void. Two different ways to give myself. The healing of both the empath and the narcissist, the way you bring yourself away from the extreme part of the equation, from the extreme part of the scale, more towards the balanced middle, is not by keep giving to others. That is a vicarious way of giving to yourself. It's not by keeping taking from others, which is a way of giving to yourself. It's by not beating around the bush and going around, as opposed to going within and just doing the shortcut. What do I mean by that? If I give to others to eventually receive, even if it's subconscious, doesn't matter as an empath, I might as well give myself. If I take from others so I can receive from others, as the form of the narcissist, I might as well take a shortcut and give to myself. The wound and the medicine for both is the same. Self-love, the need of self-love. Nourish yourself, dear empath. Nourish yourself, dear narcissist. Empath, don't rely on giving to others for the sake of receiving and fulfilling. Narcissists don't rely on taking from others for the sake of receiving and healing and being fulfilled. Do it for yourself. Take yourself away from the outside environments that you rely on for the sake of this healing. And simply give to yourself. Empaths, stop giving to people and start giving to yourself. Love yourself, accept yourself, honor yourself, pamper yourself, speak kindly to yourself, feed yourself, nourish yourself, feel great about yourself. Not from a place of, oh, I've given to the other, now I'm expecting them to give back, and I get super frustrated if I don't. But from a place of, I didn't even do that. I just gave myself automatically. And not from a place of waiting and expecting and enjoying that when other people do it for me. Probably other empaths. Giving myself the pat on the shoulder. Acknowledging myself for my achievements and for my abilities and for my skill and for my success. If you are somewhere on that scale, somewhere in an extreme seat on that same scale, either I'm an empath that always gives and never receives, and I'm always drained and weakened for others, or I'm cool as fuck, I'm watching this and I don't agree, I'm not even a narcissist at all. You probably don't. If you're a narcissist, you probably think that this video isn't for you at all. Unless you're super balanced and you're familiar with both aspects, and then I agree with you, but most likely you might be on that narcissist scale. Trigger point. Oh well. In that case, cut yourself from people who constantly give you and are always there for you, but you know you're never there for them just as much, and that you probably never will be. and start giving yourself what it is that you feel they are giving to you. Okay, for example, if you have in your life someone that you know they love you, and you know they're always there for you, and that you know that all you have to do is call or show up and they'll immediately jump for you, but you know you don't want them that way, or you have no, more serious intentions, that probably means that you're taking advantage of their energy and enjoying something that now it might not be conscious, it might be subconscious, but be honest with yourself. Take a moment, breathe for a second. You might be mad at me right now, but this is an opportunity. Take a breather, and be honest with yourself. If I don't actually love them as much as they love me, if I don't really want anything with them, why do I stick around? What does this connection give me? Does it pat your ego? Does it give you someone to always spend time with when no one else better is around? Be sincere. And if you feel like maybe yeah, then first of all, amazing breakthrough. You literally, just by admitting it to yourself, you're out of the pathological definition of narcissism, which is a major step, because an intense pathologic narcissist would not even admit that to himself or herself. So acknowledging that is major. I'm not trying to patronize you. I'm telling you seriously, it's major. I'm giving you the thumbs up. And be sincere with yourself. And if you don't want them in your life, don't take advantage of them. Be honest with them. Be like, hey, black and white, this is the truth. Not games of wording where you say something that can be interpreted in more than one way, where you kind of say the truth, but it's not in a way that is sharp enough for them to completely disappear from your life and realize it. Not in like a rounding, kind of going around. Very clear. Give them the chance to set free. Okay? That will be a big leap for you and for them. And if you're on the other side, if you're the empath, sit with yourself. Think about that person or people that you're constantly giving and feeling drained, that for either weeks or months or years, they're not giving back. It doesn't have to be romantic, by the way. It could be family. It could be friendships. But it more often than not is romantic. But still, it can go across all the range of connections. If you feel like you have a person or people like that in your life, make that cut. Because you have to do that for yourself. No one will do it for you. It doesn't matter how much you behave saint-like. Most likely they won't make that decision for you. You ought to make that decision for yourself. Look at reality in a very clear, sincere way. Just literally don't, and this is where spirituality is trapping us when it comes to telepathic connections and feeling each other in the dream space, but not really being with each other. In reality, they're not there for you ever, but in your dream, you're together. And in your sensation and intuition, I'm not shading all that, but this is exactly the type of things that keep a lot of people stuck, really stuck. Because even if your souls really love each other, if the human being doesn't, that's what's real. This is the reality that you live in, that you operate within. And if you want to be happy within this reality, then you have to take the steps and the measures needed within this reality with 3D tools. If you want to build an X 3D, you need to use an 3D tools, right? Actual behavior, actual actions that align with what it is that you want for your life. So if you only align with your intuition and what you sense, but not with your reality, then your reality won't align with what you feel. What you feel will align with what you feel, but not your reality. I don't like it any more than you do, okay? Time moves slow as F in the 3D. It's reality, material reality is is a big challenge for intuitives and for extrasensories and empaths. But it doesn't have to be. It's a matter of perception. If you realize it's not a bad thing, just a thing, okay? If you're in China and you're going to try to speak English, it's not going to work. You either learn how to speak Chinese or leave the country, unless you're okay with not communicating. It's flat out how it is. So if you want to speak the language of this life, if you want to be happy in this life, in your body, in your experience of life, use this life's tools. Your brain, your body, your words, decision making. Separate for a second your dreams and your intuition and think about that person in reality. Are they there for you? Do you believe that they love you truly from their behavior? When you're going through something difficult, are they there? I'm not talking about a text of, oh, I hope everything's okay with you. I'm talking about physically being there. If the answer is no, that opens up a portal for more questions for you to ask yourself. Okay? And for the narcissists, on that scale, now it's a scale, you can be somewhere on that scale. It doesn't have to be extreme this or extreme that. Somewhere there, but I have to use narcissist versus empath just for the sake of the conversation, right? So if you're on the narcissist side, the reason why you still feel lonely and unsatisfied, even though a lot of people give you a lot of attentions and people are chasing you around and you constantly have to, play games in order to kind of keep them around, but without promising anything, it comes from a wound, most likely from something in childhood or some other type of trauma, because usually narcissism or extreme empathy, empath-like, when without boundaries. I'm not talking about healthy empaths that have boundaries, that have a healthy, balanced reciprocity of give and take. That's expansion of consciousness. That's awareness. That's a great thing. I'm talking about an empath that doesn't have boundaries and gives at their expense, and instead of being filled by giving, they're drained by giving, which is two very different things. Both of you, both that empath and that narcissist, experienced an injury or injuries that had you go into that extreme place. But you come from the same core of being a very sensitive individual. So look back. Where did you change? And try to address that injury with shadow work and emotional work, with integration and transmutation. I'll link a video that I did, a 13th element, about how to integration, transmutation, shadow work, and so on. And find that balanced place where you can receive, but you also are not afraid to give because you're not scared that it will get taken advantage of. Which brings me to how I started out on how, every narcissist is an empath that just had enough, or every empath is just a narcissistic ticking bomb. Both of you, at one point, given and given and given, and you were taking advantage of it, or it hurt you in some way. So it took you to an extreme. The narcissist is scared of giving because it's subconscious. They're scared of giving because they're scared that... Notice that most narcissists... I'm sorry for talking... If you're on that scale, and now I'm talking about you, but I'm addressing empath now. I'm addressing all seekers now. Okay. I'm sorry, it's just such a delicate topic, so I'm trying to kind of articulate myself in a way that won't unnecessarily offend anyone. If it has to offend you, there's nothing I can do with it, but if it's unnecessary, then I'm trying to articulate myself. Anyway, what was I saying? Damn. Right. Notice that narcissists, the reason why empaths are so drawn to narcissists is because Narcissists have an energy of that is very pure and giving and very sweet. It's when the empath sees their potential and it's why they're staying. But I know they're kind. I know they have a good heart. I see it. I feel it. You're right. You're not wrong. It just they got injured so much they took it in the other direction. Staying there and giving them and giving them and giving them is not going to heal them. Quite the opposite. It will make you more ill and it will enable them. What they need to do is to give that love for themselves. Not on your expense as an exterior source. And what you need to do is stop trying to give yourself by giving to another and to give yourself instead and not expect them to wake up and give you in return. Okay? So you're right about, them being super sensitive and super intuitive and have a very good heart. Narcissists are extremely sensitive, but you sticking around because of that isn't the cure. Now back to them being super sensitive. Notice that they get offended really easy. It's very difficult to give them constructive criticism. And sometimes you have to walk on eggshells to make sure that they don't get you the wrong way, or they're not over offended, or they're not triggered by everything that you say. That's also a big sign of narcissism. Because they do come from that sensitive, really, really sensitive, wounded place. And they covered themselves with a lot of protection, where you can give, but you damn sure can't take. Now, I'm not saying you're trying to take, but that's how they're interpreting it. And in a way, they're not wrong, because your subconscious desire is receiving from giving it for the sake of receiving, whether you admit it to yourself or not. It's a game in the subconscious. Both of your subconsciouses in a relationship of empath narcissist, both of your subconsciouses are in a battlefield. Who gives, who takes? The empath's conscious mind is, I'm giving. The narcissist conscious mind is like, they're giving. Of course it's more complex than that. I'm just trying to make a point. Now here's the fun part about this us moving from 3D to 5D, Earth split, and all those things that you hear of a lot in the spiritual community. We are raising our frequency. Earth's frequency in the past couple of years went from 7.83, I believe, and now it grows like massively, and the range changes to like 9 or 14 or like the Schumann, I believe that's how it's called, the thing that measures the frequency of Earth. It's been 7.83, if I remember correct, for ever, and then suddenly in the past few years it started raising. It's symbolic, it's connected. It's not even symbolic, it's directly connected to our consciousness. We are raising our frequency. We are becoming smarter. We are waking up. And a lot of us are becoming more and more aware of ourselves, of our subconscious. The walls of separation between our conscious and our subconscious are melting. So we're starting to become very, very aware of all our triggers and all our reasons and everything that makes us tick. A lot of it is thanks to empath narcissist relationships, because we learn most about ourselves from relationships. It's a reflection of ours. As I said, an empath and a narcissist is the same thing. You and your narcissist, or you and your empath, you're the same thing. You just took a different costume. So, especially in the past decade, there's been a massive leap of awareness when it comes. Look at how relationships have changed in the past decade or two. The dynamics. In just 100 to 200 years. It's because we are accelerating when it comes to growth. as a collective. So the changes are more massive and it happens more rapid. And the empath narcissist narrative has helped us a lot to heal a lot of our injuries and our wounds, because we serve as reflection to one another. For bottom line, the same thing. We need to love it. We need to love ourselves, and that's the only thing that allows us to love another. Empath, if you want to truly love someone from a place that doesn't really expect anything back, that is truly unconditional, because unconditional love means that you love unconditionally and give unconditionally and don't really expect anything in return, and you're not being drained from it, and you're not hurting on this, and you're not having 10,000 tarot readings about this person, and you're not constantly wondering what's going on or why it's going on or why they're not back or why they're not loving you or why you're not, because that's the whole point of unconditional love. Give and then letting it go. So empath without boundaries type of love is not truly an unconditional love. It's what empaths tell themselves. Don't be mad at me. Told you it's going to be triggering. To truly love someone else, to truly give unconditionally, you have to first love yourself unconditionally. And in order to love yourself unconditionally, you need to behave as such. Someone who loves themselves unconditionally does not stay with someone or at a place that treats them badly or isn't of equilibrium or isn't fair, that isn't loving, that doesn't appreciate them or doesn't give back. Immediately, you won't even think about, oh, but they're injured, but they're wounded, but they need healing. No, you'll be like, I love myself enough to not even, excuse me? Next. You cannot unconditionally love someone else if you don't unconditionally love yourself, because that someone else is you. Remember oneness? Everything is a reflection. So if you're not, it's by default. If you're constantly with someone who isn't giving you back for years or for months or for whatever, you don't truly unconditionally love them, because you don't truly unconditionally love yourself. Because if you truly unconditionally love yourself, you would not be in this situation. It won't even be a question or a challenge for you to leave. And yeah, fake it until you make it. You don't have to feel it in order to do it. You can do it. Force yourself to do the right thing for yourself, something that expresses self-love, and that will give you that self-love. It works vice versa. You can work from the outside in or from the inside out. It's same thing. And obviously, if you're on the narcissist side of the scale, you can't truly love someone when you're constantly scared that if you'll give them, they'll take advantage of you. Notice that both empaths and narcissists have that inherited fear that I will give but won't receive back. Both come from a place of unconditional pure love that got super injured and created an extreme behavior. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying. The leap in consciousness and the expansion and the earth split. One of the live videos I spoke about it. Check in my live stream playlist, because I don't remember which one. I'll look it up. I think it's in the caption of, what's going on. What does it mean, the earth splitting? I think I spoke about it in different occasions. What it actually means now is that so many of us have done the work that it's going to start to change the magnet, the attraction. Now, because we're going from duality, from polarities to oneness, right? So now instead of a yin being drawn to a yang, from one extreme being drawn to the other extreme, opposites attract, but they're actually the same, as this entire conversation is about. We're going towards equilibrium, balance. So no longer empath and narcissist, more so empath and empath, narcissist and narcissist. So the empaths that have took leadership over their own life and have decided to truly love themselves and not be around situations and with people or in circumstances that aren't mirroring that made that cut, has proven so much self-love and care for themselves that they will now draw on someone similar that is also a very sensitive empath, but also knows how to give to themselves. So both individuals are more balanced. And when I say empaths and empaths, narcissists and narcissists, so the empath and empath is combined of two groups. One group is the empath that were always empaths and giving, and another group that were actual narcissists that healed, that also did that extreme cut of deciding to not take any more from someone else and to give themselves that love. So they went on the scale, they went more into the middle zone, to the balance zone, right? So they went to this balance zone by doing that. The empath went to the balance zone by doing that. So now they're the same creature, a balanced empath. So basically, both the empaths and the narcissists that have created massive healing and massive leap will find themselves with each other. But the narcissists and the empaths that didn't are going to be with each other now. And that's the extreme aspect of the split, the earth split, where it's not like physical two different earths. It's just two very different groups of frequencies, because the difference is so big, so it can no longer be in a similar room or in a similar sphere. They just, by physics, they can't be around each other. So those extreme empaths and extreme narcissists, aka overgiving without boundaries, aka overtaking without giving at all, they will become the narcissist with the narcissist, because those empaths that still haven't healed, that refuse to make that leap, is what I like to refer to as the empath who is a narcissist ticking bomb, because those are the empaths who will now completely have enough and won't be able to handle the pain anymore because they didn't go to the healing. So they turn into narcissist. I'm done giving. I'm done loving. Now I'm only going to take. I'm only going to play games. I had people who constantly played me, treated me as an option and never gave me back. Now I'm going to treat people as option, constantly take and never give back. Go to the other extreme. So they turn into a narcissist. And the old school narcissists that just stayed that way, that are just stayed like that, and then they're gonna, oh my God, they're just gonna be stuck in the prison of constant power plays, mind games, torturing each other. Of course, it's never too late. At any point, one of them can go into the healing and move to that place and find another person that did the same thing. Maybe I should sketch it. I hope I didn't confuse you guys. I think you got my point. Okay. That was it about narcissists and empaths from Morgainne, the Existential Shift. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. I do monthly tarot scopes for all the zodiac signs. I'm also on Patreon, so for those of you who follow my content regularly, like my extendeds and my karmic shifts and liberation on Vimeo, they're all available on Patreon, but it's way more cost effective because it's a monthly subscription, so it costs less by the month. So check it out, see if it speaks to you. I also do special lunar, new moon, and full moon love readings. So that's only special for my patrons. And it's just like a community that I'm building that will be, for my special seekers, seers, shifters, and masters. There's different tiers, so check it out, link below. I also teach tarot. I know you haven't experienced tarot from me in this video, but if you watch my other tarot scopes, then you'll understand. I'm a Tahochi, an existential shifter, and I created an online classroom with an archive in Akashic Records for the tarot. It's 90 classes that teach you how to be a Tahochi and an existential shifter. It's on Vimeo as well. All links are below. I love you guys very much. Happy to have you here as always. Subscribe to my channel and go be a balanced empath. You got this. And if you need extra guidance, I also offer private readings and mentor shifts. All the magic is below. Love you. Bye for now.